Sunday, the tax lady's after Archie while Murray's after the tax lady. And it's Julie's wedding on one day at a time. But everyone's in for a big surprise. Next on Alice.
I love you.
Then it's a wild Halloween party for the Jeffersons when Louise witnesses...
Tom Blanchard with a good rush is punting to Odom, who forces and comes up at the 30-yard line. Odom to the 40, and Odom is brought down at the 46-yard line, and the tackle made by Billy Césaire, number 44. Scores around the league in the NFL. Washington 14-0 over Philadelphia. Big battle between Dallas, Washington, and Philly in the East. Cincinnati over Cleveland 14-7. The Browns have lost 3 in a row. Miami now trailing New England 14-13. Sam Cunningham has scored in the third period on a 1-yard touchdown run. Right here it's 14-3 Tampa Bay. The Packers have good field position following the 29-yard punt. Out of the I formation for Green Bay. David Whitehurst goes to Nate Simpson, and Simpson gets to midfield, so he gets about 3.5 yards on the play. Tackle made by Richard Wood, number 54, who has led Tampa Bay in tackles for 3 years. He's a former New York Jet.
Looks like Dave Whitehurst was talking to his offensive line there about some blocking assignment. I like to see that. I like to see the quarterbacks being totally involved in the game. Get involved with those offensive linemen.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7, midfield. Whitehurst flips it out once again to Simpson. He'll lose a yard. Knopfziger, number 51, a free agent pickup, is playing in place of Cecil Johnson as we look at the quarterback, David Whitehurst.
This is a broken play. See, it's supposed to be to the right. He's waiting to pitch to the right. The backs go to the left, so he makes an option out of it. He held the ball nice. He didn't want to get hit like that.
He's recovered nicely on 2 broken plays today, John.
Well, we have an injured player on the field, and he sure has recovered. I mean, not only on that run, but also on the passes. He's done a nice job of recovering, scrambling, and finding something and getting it going.
Andre Thompson, number 89, shaken up as he gets up. Now, how would you grade the quarterback so far in this game in a capsule summary?
I like them both. I think that they've both done a fine job. I feel that Tampa Bay in this second half has to get something going, because I don't think 14 points is enough to hold up. I think they've gotten a little conservative. I think they have to start opening up and throwing the ball a little more. And I like the way David Whitehurst has done it this second half. He's 15 for 21.
2 wide receivers in there, 3rd and 7. 5 defensive backs for Tampa Bay. 3-3-5. The pass is complete to the tight end Kaufman at the 35, and he has made 3 important receptions for the Packers this afternoon that we remember.
That's right, and David Whitehurst will look for Kaufman on those situations. They go 5 defensive backs. They're really concentrating on the outside receivers, and Kaufman is able to work in the middle on the in route as he ran at that time, or the hook in the middle.
Right now, Kaufman is the leading receiver on the season for the Packers as Whitehurst looks at a 1st and 10 at the Tampa Bay 35. Play action. Whitehurst. The pass incomplete. Andre Thompson, who was shaken up before but recovered, couldn't make that low grab.
I tell you, he ran a fine pattern, though. You know, the thing that you have to do on this is you have to make that defender think he's going deep. You see how he did that, and he made him turn and run for the deep end, and then he cut back to the sideline. That was a great pattern.
Bounced out of his hands, Andre Thompson. He hadn't been running those great patterns so far this season, but today he's been running them better, and that one was an example.
Well, he's had some injuries, and that was as fine a pattern as I've seen run today.
2nd and 10, 35-yard line. Whitehurst. And that pass overthrown to Nate Simpson, and might have been intercepted because Tampa Bay had 3 defenders in the area.
You know, it looks like David Whitehurst is having a little problem with his backs. I know that they've had a number of injuries, and they have Simpson and Landers playing today, and it seems like they've had quite a few mix-ups of backs going the wrong way on runs, and that pattern looked like that could have in fact been a mix-up.
What causes these problems, mix-ups, broken plays?
Not playing together, inexperience, not really getting in the flow of things together.
3 wide receivers as Tullis, 87, comes in. 3rd and 10 at the 35. Packers in the opening moments trailing 14-3 of this 4th quarter. Pass might be complete to Tullis, and they said that he was forced out of bounds. It is a completed pass and a first down for Green Bay. Apparently, he was up, caught the ball, and driven out of bounds, and they rule it, according to what we see, as a completed pass. Walter Tullis.
They're marking it down there. We're going to get another shot of that. But again, this was another comeback pass. Now you see, if the receiver is in the air and he is knocked out by the impetus of the defender out of bounds, then that's a good play. And that's the way they did it. He was up in the air. He was up in the air inbounds. He was hit and knocked out of bounds, so that's a legal completion.
And a good call. Mike Washington drove him out, but you're right, he was in the field of play and driven out. 14-yard pickup, a big first down for the Packers at the 21-yard line. The crowd booing. They may not understand the rule. They don't like it. Walt Landers gets nowhere, and Dewey Selman, number 58, comes up and makes the play. Selman, formerly a down lineman, moved to linebacker, and a very intelligent left inside linebacker for John McKay. Well, at the other end of that youngster with the earphones and the binoculars is his mom, who's watching the game right now. 2nd and 10 at the 21.
What do you think? You got any good plays? Uh-huh.
Crowd still reacting to that call, and a good one by the officials. 2nd and 10 at the 21. Packers right now are in field goal range, and we have a whistle. Delay of the game, apparently. We have a delay of the game call against the Packers. They didn't get the play off in the 30 seconds allotted.
That's another penalty that you hate to see. You know, you have 30 seconds and...
Offense delayed. 2nd down.
So instead of 2nd and 10, it's 2nd and 15. That makes a whale of a difference.
Well, and that'll happen sometimes when the plays are being called from the sideline, and sometimes when you're changing from 2 running backs to 3 wide receivers and these situation substitutions.
11:37 remaining in the game as Tampa Bay counters with a 5th defensive back. Curtis Jordan, 25, and Dana Nafziger, 51, is out. 2nd and 15. And we have another mix-up. Number 68, Greg Cook, the right tackle, moved, and it looks like the Green Bay Packers today, for the most part, have not been in sync, John.
No, they want to get in there so bad, and I don't think it's...
Number 78, 2nd down.
I don't think it's from not wanting to do it. I think it's from wanting too much. They get down there and they get so excited. They move. They want to get a jump on that pass protection. You know, those tackles have a tough job. They're out there one-on-one on those defensive ends that are going to rush up the field and inside and outside, and sometimes they want to get an early start on it. As we see, Chicago 14, Minnesota 3 in the 2nd period.
And Tampa Bay travels to Bloomington to face the Vikings next week. Penalty was on Cook, 68, and not 78, as you heard. 2nd and 20 at the 30-yard line. Whitehurst hemmed in. He dumps it off to Kaufman, the tight end, who's down at the 25-yard line. Tackle made by David Lewis, who hung with him nicely. So it'll be 3rd down and still long yardage. But the Packers, if nothing else, want to give Marcole another chance to put more points up there. Because you said you don't think the 14's enough for Tampa Bay.
I don't think the 14's enough, and those 3s add up, and pretty soon they become 9s and 12s, and you get a 7, and and you're up there to 20 points. And I don't think the 14 points will hold up.
Green Bay heavily penalized, as you saw there this afternoon. 3rd and 15 at the 25. Tullis, 87, Thompson, 89, wide to the left, and Lofton, number 80, to the right. He dumps it out to Landers. That's not the way to move the ball downfield. I have a hunch you would say that, John Madden.
Well, that's right. You know, it's the third time they've done that, though. They've gotten in that three wide receiver, spread them out over the field, and then they threw the screen pass. I think once is fine, maybe twice, but when you go three times, that's dipping in the well maybe one too many times. And, you know, you'd think that they'd like to get the ball downfield, maybe get it in the end zone and get us 7 points.
This will be a 46-yard attempt for Chester Marcol. 46-yard attempt. He hit on 42 yards earlier. David Beverly is holding. The last one just made it. This one doesn't make it off to the right. It wasn't even close. And so the Packers, who were driving, and they had that 5-yard penalty for delay of the game, and then the screen pass didn't work. So Tampa Bay takes over with 9:58 to go in the game and the lead.
You know, it does my heart good to see a woman of your depth and reception going natural in public.
It does my heart good to see they even let you out in public.
That's nice of you to say, but tell me, why do you like natural?
Oh, this light beer and I have a lot in common. You know, classy package, terrific taste.
Yeah, natural aging. I mean, natural has the smooth, clean taste that comes from slow, natural aging.
Keep trying.
Really, I have extinct affliction for all women of your gender. I raise you to the highest pinnacle.
Can a 1980 Ford LTD priced about $7,300 ride as quietly as a $65,000 Rolls-Royce? Both were tested under identical conditions, over smooth roads, over rough roads, at 20, 40, and 55 miles per hour. And the LTD rode just as quietly as the Rolls-Royce. Incredible? Not for LTD, because LTD is so solidly built, so well engineered. Ford LTD, as quiet as a Rolls-Royce.
Whitehurst and Zeke on the sideline, John.
I think Whitehurst has really done a fine job, and I think he and Zeke are talking about what they want to do next time. Once something's over, it's too late to talk about.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line for Tampa Bay. Second back through is Ricky Bell, number 42, who has gained 113 yards. Before that play, Robert Barber, number 70, makes the stop.
Ricky Bell, 21 rushes for 113 yards, and I'm sure his running back coach, George Chomp, who's not here today, will be very happy with Ricky's performance. George had a gallbladder operation. He's out. He's watching the game on television. We all send him our best.
2nd and 5 at the 33. Doug Williams had a fine afternoon in his own right. Engineered 2 scoring drives. Bell again changes direction nicely and goes outside and is out of bounds short of midfield. Mike McCoy drove him there, but that's why you get a talent like that, a brilliant running back from USC who has the ability like OJ did to make that kind of a move.
He sure did. You know, some of the times he would start up, cut back to the other side. This time he started up and bounced out to the wide side. We'll see him here. Watch John McKay. John, you got to take him on with your left shoulder. See, John just stands there and takes a little, oops, there he goes. I can't take too many of those hits.
11-yard pickup, 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Tampa Bay used up almost 8 minutes in a first half drive. Morris Owens in motion. First back through, Johnny Davis, and he is stopped head up. Charles Johnson and Mike Douglas were there. Davis, second year out of Alabama, and as John said earlier, has a bright future with this club, and you'll probably see him more and more, although it's been an Eckwood Bell season running up to this point.
That's right, and someday it's going to be a Davis. I had said he was a rookie earlier. He was a rookie the last time I worked in a draft, and that was 2 years ago.
They look good in Florida. 2nd and 10 at the 44. 8:35 remaining. There he is again, Ricky Bell, wending his way for a first down. Let's see where they spot it. He apparently has it. Jim Gano, linebacker, makes the stop. We have seen a lot of 3-4 for Green Bay, and Ricky Bell has really worked hard today.
I'll tell you, Ricky Bell has worked hard and run well, but watch Davis out in front on this lead block. He's really the man that made that play go, because he he drove into the linebacker and took him back about 4 or 5 yards. It made that possible for Ricky Bell.
They're going to measure right now, and I'll tell you one thing. When you have a talent like Ricky Bell, you've got to have a good blocker, and that's, I think, what you're talking about when you mention Davis's future.
That's right, and Davis has done that in this game, and Eckwood has also done it today.
They're short by less than a yard. Ricky Bell, by the way, now has broken the single-season rushing record of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 138 yards. The old record was by Jerry Eckwood, opening game against Detroit when he ran for 121. So a big day for Ricky Bell, 2nd and 1 at the 46. In motion goes Bell. Carrying is Williams. He has enough. First down. Williams carried for the second Tampa Bay touchdown in the second quarter, and he hit Bell, who was all alone on a 9-yard scoring strike in the first quarter. It was 14-0 at the half. Mark Hall, after missing a field goal from 33 in the first half, gave Green Bay their only points with a 42-yard field goal.
And when's the last time Tampa Bay's thrown a pass?
1976. I don't know.
No,
That's a good point.
I don't remember. It seems like this whole half has been running.
They haven't thrown many passes even in the first half today. 1st and 10, 45. Bell, and he almost came close to breaking one. Fumble. And the Packers recover. Ricky Bell fumbles. He was hit by Johnson and Wingo, and now Williams and Johnson on the field. I think they're going at each other pretty strong out there after the whistle blows.
Come on, we're going to see that again. Again, it was a cutback type thing where Bell was going to go to the right side, and he cut back to the left. And just as he was going down, he was stripped. The ball was stripped out of his hand.
Wingo hit him, and Johnson stripped it away. And Green Bay has the ball with 7:06 remaining in the ball game.
If a man's favorite threads prematurely lose their threads, and the seams in his slacks seem to disappear, then he needs clothes from Levi's Sportswear. Levi's slacks, blazers, and suits hold their great looks because they're sewn to the tough standards that made the Levi's name famous for durability. Men's clothes from Levi's Sportswear, where quality never goes out of style.
The AC Spark Plug, buy 7, get 1 free sales on right now. Participating outlets where you see this poster.
Thanks, AC.
Americans are learning that if their car's plugs are misfiring, a tune-up with new AC Spark Plugs can help improve gas mileage. Thanks, AC. Now's the time to tune up because AC Delco is making it possible for you to get 8 AC Spark Plugs for the price of 7.
Thanks, AC.
Tune up with AC. Buy 7, get 1 free.
Thanks, AC.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see the light heavyweights. Plus, the battle of the super heavyweights, the world's strongest men competition. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
James Scott at Rahway State Prison in a light heavyweight bout, and the world's strongest men concludes with the very popular tug of war. Don't miss it next week. Cincinnati leading Cleveland 20-7 in the third quarter, and the Browns have slumped. The Jets over Oakland 14-13. That's been a seesaw game in the second quarter. Minnesota narrows the gap. The Bears lead it 14-10, and New Orleans, they could be a threat, leading Detroit 10-0. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. David Whitehurst, Packers still in the game. His pass is complete to Kaufman, and he has a first down. Kaufman caught the ball, was dragged back, but his forward progress is enough for a Packer first down.
I've really been impressed with Kaufman. You know, he not only works to get open as he's doing here, but once he gets open, he goes for the ball, and then he doesn't want to go down. You know, he's just going and twisting and turning, and I don't know if they ever did get him down. His old man's restraining him. That's exciting, though.
TV. That's great. I'll tell you, Kaufman has really been the top offensive performer for the Packers today. 1st and 10 at the 46. 6:20 to go in the game. 14-3 Tampa Bay. Simpson changes direction. Fumbles. Tampa Bay recovers. He was hit by Lewis, lost the ball, and the fumble was recovered by Nafziger, and so the Pack coughs it up.
I think that Tampa Bay needed that. They had just given up a turnover, and they had to get it back, and they got it back on a turnover. You see here, sometimes on a play like this, the back is better just to take the ball and just run it up if you have a loss or you get a yard or two, and then play second down, tee it up again. He tried to reverse his field and fumbled the ball.
So the Buccaneers have it at the 47-yard line in their own territory, 1st and 10, leading 14-3. 3 big turnovers that the Buccaneers have capitalized on. Johnny Davis takes a couple to bring him down, doesn't it? He's still up. And finally, Johnny Gray brings him out of bounds. But great effort by Johnny Davis.
It was a great effort, and I think we have a penalty on that. It looks like it's going to be holding against the Bucs, and that's going to put everything back, I'm sure.
Because they start in good field position, so that'll send them back.
That's one of the first holding penalties I think we've had today.
We have had a clip on Green Bay, but we haven't had many major penalties. Let's pick it up.
Offense, number 75, holding.
Dave Revis, former Pittsburgh Steeler, the left tackle, was holding. So it's 1st and 20 now at the 37. George Ragsdale, number 23, replaces Ricky Bell. And now 4 linebackers in there for the Packers. And the pitch goes to Ragsdale. He's got good speed if he can get away. He's tackled at the 40 by Jim Gano. Clock continues to run. 5:45 to go in the game. Tampa Bay trying to break their 2-game losing streak and maintain a 2-game lead in the Central Division of the NFC. Ricky Bell back in the lineup.
I think Tampa Bay they have great running backs who can do some things on their own, and maybe they don't need the pass as much.
Audible apparently being called at the line by Williams. 2nd and 17. Ricky Bell up the middle. First down to the 46, and it was Johnny Gray who brings him down.
They have 2nd and 17 there. You would think that's a passing situation, but when you have running backs like Ricky Bell here, that's time to do it. I guess you can go all the way.
They'll be short by a couple, John.
Yeah, they're going to be short by 2 yards and have a 3rd and 2, but again, you get that long yardage situation, and most teams are going to pass the ball. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers give it to Ricky Bell. He's rushed 25 times for 154 yards. That's not bad.
He'll take it. He'll take it every week.
It's about 3 games worth for most of them.
14-yard pickup on that play, so it's 3rd and a long 2. Davis tried to go wide, couldn't get anywhere. So the Packers, with Mike Douglas pursuing and forcing the play, hold right here, and it's 4th down.
I think he stretched that one out a little more than you really want to on short yardage. On a short yardage play, you like to get it turned upfield, get your shoulder square as soon as you can, and not spend too much time going laterally.
Odom is at the 10-yard line, and Blanchard will kick from his 40. Under 4 minutes remaining in the game.
Corner kick, Bob.
Come the Packers. Blanchard gets the kick away. It's an outstanding kick out of the end zone. So Green Bay will take over on the 20-yard line. So they have 3:36 now, and they're trailing 14-3. Well, our director in this game is John McDonough. He has a lovely wife, Muffy, and she gave birth to John III. Mother and son are doing very well in New Jersey.
Spread your wings. Introducing the new 1980 Thunderbird, a Thunderbird of new contemporary size that shows its elegant heritage wherever you look. And with its new size and a new 4.2-liter engine, this Thunderbird has excellent estimated gas mileage and also offers the first automatic overdrive option built in America, a new engineering breakthrough. The new size Thunderbird, a better idea for the 80s.
How great is JCPenney's MCS 35-watt system stereo sale? Just look at the figures. An amplifier that delivers 35 watts of power, only $200. An extremely sensitive AM/FM tuner, just $160. Two acoustically balanced three-way speakers, only $280. The total, an unbelievable $399. That's right, $640 worth of components, only $399 when you buy the 35-watt package at JCPenney. It figures.
California's about to crack down on a doctor that the state says is involved in what could be the biggest case of medical fraud ever, but the doctor is still practicing. How come? Watch 60 Minutes tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Score is 14-3 Tampa Bay, and you're looking now at nose tackle Bill Kohler. You remember him from a Cincinnati game, don't you, John?
I sure do. He's an amazing player. One day we were getting ready for Mike Reed, and we were worried about Mike Reed at Cincinnati, and Kohler just killed us that day.
And now he's killing other people. Intercepted by David Lewis, number 57. Reached up and intercepted the Whitehurst pass. Third time today, Tampa Bay has picked off a toss by Whitehurst. And for David Lewis, it is his first interception of the year.
We're going to see that, and of course we talked earlier about the turnovers. You know, when you get some opportunities, you have to take advantage of them, and that really wasn't a very well thrown ball.
It was intended for Kaufman, the tight end.
And Lewis made a fine play getting back there. He was in the zone. He has great range, and he's a fine athlete from University of Southern California.
14-3. Clock with 3:26 remaining in the game. 1st and 10 at the 21. Ricky Bell going outside. He has a blocker in front of him in Greg Roberts. And Ricky Bell is out of bounds. Greg Roberts, number 61, was the Outland Trophy winner as the outstanding lineman from Oklahoma. That was the deal that sent Dave Pear to your Oakland Raiders. He was the nose tackle. They got a number 2 draft choice, which was Roberts, and number 3, which turned out to be Rick Burns, a running back. And they were able to switch Hanna, and they've changed the whole story on the Tampa Bay team.
I think that was one of the trades that really helped both teams. Dave Pear has helped the Oakland Raiders, and I think the trade has helped Tampa Bay. It's been a good trade.
2 tight ends, Jim Obradovich and Jimmy Giles here at 2nd and 3 at the 14. Davis inside the 10. The bruiser from Alabama was tackled by Wingo and Douglas, 2 linebackers.
I think we had talked earlier, and we see here the turnovers in this game, 4-1. The Packers have had 1 fumble, 3 interceptions. The Bucs have only had 1, and I think that's really a big difference in this game.
1st and goal at the 8, and John, we go back to the top of our show when you talked about the turnovers. This time it was the other way around. Green Bay committed them. Tampa Bay had committed them in the last couple of games. 1st and goal at the 8. The Buccaneers can wrap it up and seal it and put a ribbon on it here. Look at that cut inside by Bell. Penalty marker is down, however, inside the 5-yard line. Earl Edwards makes the tackle, and Ricky Bell, we have a holding penalty against Tampa Bay, will nullify it, but I tell you, he is looking like a vintage O.J. Simpson at times today.
Well, he looks like a vintage Ricky Bell. You know, when he was at USC, he was a great running back. As we listen to the referee, Fred Silva here is going to tell us something in a minute. I'm sure it was a holding penalty.
Offense, number 73, holding. 1st down.
Charlie Hanna now playing up front at right tackle. He was a defensive lineman before, and so he's playing the same position his brother John plays, at least the offensive line at New England.
His brother John's a left guard, and he's one of the most impressive offensive linemen I've ever seen in my life. I remember when we scouted him at the Hula Bowl, I thought he was the best player in the game.
Previous spot foul.
1st and goal at the 18-yard line.
So the ball is at the 18, 1st and goal at the 18. Obradovich is out, so Giles is the lone tight end for Tampa Bay, leading 14-3 with 2:29 remaining. And on a reverse, Mucker. Wide receiver Larry Mucker. Short of the end zone. Driven out by Gary Weaver. So it was Ricky Bell who handed off to Mucker coming around. And Tampa Bay is within a couple of yards of another touchdown.
That's something that's been set up all day. They've been running from the I formation and flipping the ball right and left to Ricky Bell, and he's been running on those sweeps on this play. They just flip the ball to Bell. He starts out, and he hands to Larry Mucker on a reverse, and it was a great play. It was greatly timed, and it was a fine call in this situation by Coach John McKay.
Boy, Mucker made a great catch against the Giants earlier this year, a couple of weeks ago. Second and goal at the 2. Davis won't make it. He has Mike Douglas and Johnny Gray surrounding him, so it's third down. Davis, one of the leading ground gainers last year in his rookie season for the Bucs.
This is a situation that I always like to play pass or some quarterback option type play. Tampa Bay is taking time out, and Doug Williams is coming over to the sideline to talk to Coach John McKay about what to call in this important third down play.
I never worry about what brand name part my mechanic puts on my car. That doesn't make me a bad guy. I go to a professional mechanic I can trust, so I trust the parts he uses. He uses Mopar. It means nothing to me, but it means a lot to him. Mopar fits all American-made cars, foreign cars too, and they're used by professional mechanics all over the world. If the professional trusts Mopar, I trust Mopar. Does he make me happy? He makes it his business.
Trust your car to Mopar.
Trying. Avis built its business on one simple thing: trying harder.
Keep on trying, America. The effort is really everything. We keep on trying, America. At Avis, we don't give up. Trying.
By trying harder, we changed an entire industry. We're not about to give it up now.
Deborah Raffin is the girl that knows who murdered a plane load of people, but no one will believe her, and the killer is coming for her. Mind Over Murder, Tuesday at 9.
The 2-minute warning is history. It is now 3rd and 2 for Tampa Bay. Trying to wrap it up. They lead 14-3. Pretty safe in this game. But they're trying to add more points on the board. Play action, Williams flips it. Touchdown to Jimmy Giles. And Tampa Bay has scored their 3rd touchdown, and that is Giles' 5th touchdown reception of the season.
That's what I always like, is that type of play down here where they're expecting run. They're all tightened in there, and you fake to the back inside, holds the inside linebackers, and then Williams rolls out to the right. Then he has the option to either throw to Giles in the corner of the end zone or run it in himself. I think that's the best play that there is on the goal line. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just ran it to perfection.
O'Donohue will try the point after, and despite the fact that 2 of the 3 Tampa Bay touchdowns have been by virtue of the pass, it has been the running game that's told the story. The point is good. 218 yards rushing. Ricky Bell has about 156 of those in the turnovers. Green Bay coughing it up through interception and fumble to Tampa Bay, the story of the game.
That is, and we're going to see this touchdown play from another angle here. We'll see again the fake. He fakes the trap in there to Eckwood. Now he runs out here in the option, and of course he had the option to run or pass. There was no reason to run because there was no one covering Giles. He's happy. Pretty good slam, not bad. Good follow through. Looks like those pitchers in the World Series as they followed through. I wonder what the velocity was on his ball.
Well, they didn't have the gun out for him today. They have that gun that Earl Weaver likes so much.
97 miles an hour he threw that one down.
So 13 touchdown passes for Williams on the season, and Giles has caught 5 of them. Don't forget, next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Time, live from Aqueduct Racetrack, the Turf Classic, a CBS Sports Special. Neil O'Donohue will kick off, and Steve Odom is back inside his 5. 21 yards, 6 plays. And it was the interception by Lewis that started it all for Tampa Bay. Here is Odom, tripped up to the 31-yard line. So Green Bay trailing 21-3 has it 1st and 10. Danny Reese was the man that stopped Odom. The Packers next week go from the frying pan to the fire. They have to face the Miami Dolphins at the Orange Bowl, and Tampa Bay will now be 6-2 on the year and will have a 2-game lead over either Chicago or Minnesota. Will go against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. 5 defensive backs for Tampa Bay. 3 wide receivers for Green Bay. Whitehurst, pass is complete. Walter Tullis to the 43, 44-yard line.
Green Bay's line are going without a huddle now. They're going to be in the same formation that they ran last time, and we see David Whitehurst audibilizing at the line.
Whitehurst completes this to Undra Thompson, who has a 1st down at the 44. Clock moving. The Packers have all of their timeouts remaining, and they line up because they need a few scores here. They can't use any of those timeouts yet.
They need more than one. What they have to do is get one quick one and then go for an onside kick and try and get the ball back and get another one.
This pass almost picked off by Curtis Jordan, and if he had grabbed it, he could have walked in. Intended for Undra Thompson. Clock stops, 52 seconds to go.
I think we're going to see that. You see that one again, and again it was the same type of pattern. It was just a sideline. And the one thing that impresses me about David Whitehurst, of course, he came close to throwing an interception here, but he really stays in that pocket. He doesn't get panicky. He doesn't get fidgety. He stands in there and waits for something to happen with his wide receivers. He waits for him to get open.
You see the time remaining in the game. The Packers need 3 scores. Hit from behind. Selman gets him, and that is an incompleted pass, I believe. And an injured player. Is that Greg Cook? Number 68, Cook, got hurt.
As we're going to see what happens to him here as he starts to cross over. It looks like he gets thrown down on that play. And again, Tampa Bay has the ball now, and of course they don't. I'm sorry, Green Bay still has the ball. But they need 3 scores in 47 seconds.
That's not that easy to do, is it, John?
No.
3rd and 10, up the middle. Kaufman, the intended receiver, incomplete, hit hard by linebacker Richard Wood. So it's 4th and 10. Packers will line up and attempt another play. They can smile in Tampa Bay. They weren't smiling last week, but today's a different story as the Buccaneers have beaten the Green Bay Packers. So it's always good to break that losing streak. You never had too many of those, did you? But
no,
it's
but
nice
they should be proud of this team. This team is 6-2, leading their division. They've done a great job, and they've come a long way. They're very impressive.
4th and 10. Whitehurst incomplete, going for Kaufman, so they'll turn the ball over to Tampa Bay. And the big point that you mentioned at the start, where the real Tampa Bay Buccaneers stand up. The 5-0 are the team that lost 2. You don't know if it's the unbeaten club. You don't know if they're that good, but we know one thing, that this club is a definite division contender for the playoffs, which is a great story.
They sure are, and today they played like the 5-0 team that started the season. I think that's what John McKay, that's what the team wanted, that's what the owner, Hugh Culverhouse, they all wanted to get back to that.
We're going to see a new quarterback, Chuck Fusina from Penn State, who hasn't played much and hasn't attempted a pass, hasn't played at all this year, is taking over with 36 seconds to go in the game. Chuck Fusina from Penn State. And the give is to Rick Burns, number 36. One of those players acquired in the draft in that Dave Pear deal. So you're looking at Fusina from Penn State, who led them to that great year. They almost won the national championship last year. Alabama beat them in the Sugar Bowl.
They sure did, and he's not going to get much experience in this situation. I think they can put out the fire and call in the dogs. The hunt's over.
Clock running down. We will not have another play. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as John McKay trots onto the field, have swept both games from the Green Bay Packers this year, winning up in Green Bay 21-10. And as Bart Starr goes across to his sideline and to his clubhouse, 21-3 the final score. We will be back at Tampa Stadium in just a moment.
Weekends were made for Michelob. Weekends were made for special friends. It's the time to have that smooth and mellow beer. It's Michelob.
Every weekend is really a little vacation at the end of the week. And doesn't that call for Michelob?
Weekends were made for Michelob.
Yeah.
The car, the 1980 Mustang. The place, Ford's Test Track, Dearborn. Mustang proves itself a sports car for the 80s. The U.S. Auto Club tested Mustang for acceleration, for cornering, for steering response, for braking, for overall driving performance. The result, Mustang is certified by the U.S. Auto Club as a sports car. Sports car performance, impressive fuel economy. That's Ford Mustang, a sports car for the 80s.
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have beaten the Green Bay Packers 21-3. Green Bay is now 3-5 on the year. And Tampa Bay at 6-2 know that they will have a 2-game lead over either Chicago or Minnesota. Depending on who wins that game, we'll get a score for you if we can. And of course, Tampa Bay plays Minnesota next week. Story today, I guess Ricky Bell in the rushing game of Tampa Bay, maybe number one.
Well, you know, we talked earlier about Doug Williams and what he had to do. And I know I said one thing, if the running backs do the job, if Bell and Eckwood run well, then that'll help him in doing his job a lot. And I think that did help Doug Williams today. He was able to hand to Bell, to hand to Eckwood, to move the ball, to control it, and they did a fine job. Conversely, I think Green Bay had the turnovers. They had some opportunities to go and to get some points, and then when they get down there, they missed a field goal. They had the interceptions, the turnovers, and I think that's what happened to them.
Well, you're right about that. Ricky Bell gained 167 yards. Whitehurst, 3 interceptions. The NFL on CBS will be back after this word from your local station.
Tonight, the tax lady is after Archie, while Murray is after the tax lady.
You and your partner ought to be in jail.
Come on down to Archie Bunker's place tonight.
This is CBS.
We are back here at Tampa Stadium, and the capacity crowd here going home in a great frame of mind. And we only touched on a little bit the Doug Williams situation of last week, and it shows you how great the game could be, John Madden, where one week the crowd may not be happy with the quarterback and vice versa. This week they had to love Williams. And the point you were making before with the running game going, Williams had only to throw 10 passes today, completed 6 of them, and so that was the kind of offense. Whitehurst threw some 30 passes, and that's what he did in the first game, too, against this team.
Right, and today he was forced to do it, again, by the turnovers and by the fact that when Tampa Bay ran the ball, they were very successful doing it. They were able to run on first down and second down and create that 2nd and 2, that 3rd and 1 situation. And Doug Williams didn't have to pass. There were times that were very impressive to me when they would end up after a penalty with a long yardage situation, and he would still hand the ball to Ricky Bell, and he'd go 10, 15, 20 yards at a crack.
Interesting thing, an aspect of this game are the defenses. We saw the fact that the Giants used the 3-4, New Orleans used the 3-4, something that Tampa Bay hadn't been used to, and today we saw the teams use kind of the reverse. We saw the Packers in a lot of 3-4 and the Buccaneers in 4-3, and maybe we'll see a lot more of what normally has been a pattern for one club one way or another.
I think we're going to see that. You know, I've always said that the important thing on offense and defense is mixture, and I think we're starting to see that, where the 4-man line teams are using 3-man line in situations. The 3-man line teams are using 4-man line in situations. And I think we're seeing that all over the National Football League.
But as you said, it was Doug Williams engineering it today for Tampa Bay. A certain contrast to what the performance was last week. And Ricky Bell. There's Ricky Bell down on the field. He's getting hooked on because we're going to be talking with the 2 stars of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in just a moment. Ricky Bell from USC with a glorious day, and Doug Williams, the quarterback. We'll be back in Tampa in just a moment.
I learn a lot about this hotel by walking around like a guest.
Meet Carl Hurd, manager of Ramada O'Hare Inn in Chicago. He puts a lot of emphasis on people. He even lives here in his own apartment. And because this Ramada is also Carl Hurd's home, travelers find it's a nice place for them to live, too.
Nice people taking care of nice people. Ramada, all over the world.
Hey, Corvallis, Oregon. Who introduced the radial tire?
He did.
Hey, Lexington, Kentucky. Who makes only radial tires?
He does.
He's the Michelin Man. And at Michelin, we put you first. That's why we won't make a second best tire. Because the only thing more important than our tires are the people who ride on them. Hey, Independence, Missouri. Who's the fastest growing tire company in America?
Michelin.
At Michelin, we put you first.
Well, you're looking at Ricky Bell and Doug Williams, number 42 and number 12, respectively. Dick Stockton here at the booth. And a great game. First of all, Ricky Bell, you know, you set the all-time Tampa Bay rushing record, and a great afternoon. Tell me about what the plan was, Rick.
Well, what we decided on was just to run the ball at the Green Bay defense. We went down there a few weeks ago, and we had multiple type offense that worked pretty well. But today, Coach decided that we were just going to keep the ball on the ground most of the time and just try to punish them. And pretty soon, in the third and fourth quarter, they began to wear out.
You were wide open on that first touchdown pass. Tell me about that play.
Well, that's a 91 pass pattern. Doug usually looks for the out receivers on that. And usually the linebacker has one-on-one with me, and he just went down with the tight end, and I turned and waved my hand at Doug, and he threw it right in my chest. There was no way I could miss it. A perfect pass by Doug Williams.
Doug, let me ask you this question. It's great to come back after perhaps a nightmarish week last week. The fans love you today. It shows you the fickle situation of football, but you'd rather be on the right side of things, right, Doug?
Right, you know, you learn each week, you know, and this is one of our good weeks, and I just hope that we can keep rolling on.
Well, this was an important victory because people wanted to know which Tampa Bay club was it, the 5-0 team or the club that lost 2. So I know you feel good because you got a tough game in Minnesota next week, and you go up there thinking, well, today we played like the 5-0.
Right, I definitely think that we played like the 5-0 team we were early in the year, and I just hope we can keep it rolling.
Doug, let me ask you this question. What kind of adjustments go into playing a team the second time from the first? You played Green Bay, beat them 21-10 the first time. You didn't throw, well, you actually threw more passes in that game. Ricky gained about 97 yards. What did you notice in the films that Ricky hasn't said that you could tell us about now that you've played him twice?
Well, one thing I know, you know, up there in third down situation, you know, we was pretty successful against them. And I knew today that they was going to try to take what we did away up there, you know, for third down. But today, you know, we just kept pounding at him on the ground. Ricky was having a great day, and the offensive line just did a super job blocking.
John Madden is in the booth, and he can hear you, and you can hear him. John, I'm sure you have some questions.
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate both Doug Williams and Ricky Bell for their fine performance. It was great. Ricky, it reminded me of those days as the Trojan tailback.
Yeah, well, yesterday I saw Charles White rush for 261 yards, and I decided to come out and add my little 2 cents to it today, John. I think that we're an upcoming team. I think that we can pretty soon, in the next couple of years, try to dominate this league, especially with the young players we have, and we're just really excited about it.
Well, you're sure on the right track now. And again, I'd like to congratulate you. And Doug, those were the things we talked about at the airport the other night. I was telling everyone that I saw you at the airport, and I was impressed with your presence and your physical size. And today you went out and did the job, I think, which is a great thing, being able to come back from adversity. And it really didn't seem to bother you.
Well, Coach, all my life, I grew up in a competitive family. Everybody tried to outdo each other. And I just, put in my mind today to go out and do the best job I possibly can.
Doug, I think it's great that your coach, John McKay, has stuck with you, and he knows that you're the quarterback of the future of this club, plus the present. We shouldn't forget about that. But also the people know that there have been drop passes, and not only is it always a quarterback problem, and we've seen it around the league. I've seen it in New England with Grogan, and he's been in the league 5 years. Fans sometimes want the other guy, but you have shown tremendous poise, and I know that what you said this week after you made some comments was really a credit to you, and I think you might have won these people forever, no matter what you do on a football field.
I certainly hope so, Dick. Like I told Coach McKay last year, you go along in life, and as long as you live, you learn, and that's one thing that I learned.
John, any questions?
Yeah, on that touchdown pass that you threw to Ricky Bell, were you going to go to an outside receiver on that, Doug? It looked like they were double covered.
Well, Coach, all week we worked on it, and they usually play a 2, but today, they played in and out, which we call 11 coverage, and the linebacker just turned and ran, and Ricky was wide open, waving his hand. I couldn't help but to see him.
That was great, but that takes poise, too, because quarterbacks don't always hit the open guy, and we're going to look at a shot of it right now. This isn't the same shot. This was the option play down there on the goal line. Who called that play? Anyway, I noticed you went over to the sideline in a 2-minute warning and talked about that one. That fake trap bootleg pass to Giles?
Well, Coach McKay and Coach Nelson, they got together and called it, because Ricky been having a great day. So we feel like if, we could fake the ball to Ricky up the middle, everybody would be keying on him. But their defense kind of picked it up pretty good, but Jimmy was wide open in the end zone.
Yeah.
Ricky, I got a question for you. One of the great things you did today were the great changes in direction. I remarked to John, I said, it reminds me of vintage OJ, and he says, that's actually vintage Ricky Bell at USC.
Well, for the last couple of years, Dick, I've been hampered by injuries, and now I'm a third year in professional ball. I'm getting to the point where I have guys around me like Doug Williams, Jerry Eggwood, and Johnny Davis to compliment me. And I'm a lot healthier now, and that offensive line is blowing those guys off the ball, and there's nothing but wide open holes, and you have a little time to do a couple of twists and turns sometime.
Ricky Bell and Doug Williams, congratulations. I know you'll be in a great frame of mind, and you're atop the Central Division of the NFC, passed at the midway point with 6-2. Thank you very much, the stars of the game. And we'll be back at Tampa Stadium with more in just a moment.
How great is JCPenney's MCS 35-watt system stereo sale? Just look at the figures. An amplifier that delivers 35 watts of power, only $200. An extremely sensitive AM/FM tuner, just $160. 2 acoustically balanced 3-way speakers, only $280. The total, an unbelievable $399. That's right, $640 worth of components, only $399 when you buy the 35-watt package at JCPenney. It figures.
Hello, I'm Chuck Connors, and this is Tin Can Alley. An exciting new electronic target game that truly tests your marksmanship from as far away as 25 feet. But Tin Can Alley is safe because it only shoots a beam of light that's as safe as a flashlight. Well, even a rifleman sometimes misses. Tin Can Alley, for real target practice at home from Ideal.
21-3, the band still plays here in Tampa Bay as the Buccaneers won 21-3. Let's take a look at scores around the National Football League. Final score, Washington 17, Philadelphia 7 for the Eagles, their second loss of the year. So right now, Washington and Philadelphia are 6-2. In the fourth quarter, Baltimore leading Buffalo 14-3. Baltimore has won only one game. Burt Jones started for the second time this year. And a wild-scoring game, the Browns, who are trailing 20-7, leading 28-20, and the Browns trying to end that 3-game losing streak.
That's something. Cincinnati is something. They beat Pittsburgh, of course, last week, and then they started off and off well today, and they still may be in that one.
All right, we're going to be back in Tampa with more scores from the National Football League and a look at some of the highlights of today's game in just a moment.
A surprising message to Rolaids users. Tums neutralizes 1/3 more acid than Rolaids. Watch this familiar demonstration. 1 Rolaids and 1 Tums tablet are added to stomach acid. Both neutralize the acid. But on those occasions, when your stomach has even this much more excess acid, Tums can still absorb it. Rolaids can't, because tablet for tablet, Tums neutralizes 1/3 more acid than Rolaids. For acid indigestion and heartburn, take Tums.
Here's a great Radio Shack bargain for people on the go. A take-along realistic entertainment system. It's an AM/FM radio for music and news, a cassette tape player. With this built-in mic, I can record lectures, meetings, even personal notes anywhere. Right now at Radio Shack, it's only $59.95. That's $30 off. Realistic radio recorder, like having a take-along entertainment system. Now sale price, just $59.95 at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
You look at the skyline of Tampa, Florida here. It is a beautiful afternoon, and for the Tampa Bay Bucs, a beautiful game. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights of this game, as the score was 14-0 at halftime. Williams hit Bell, as you know, with a touchdown in the first quarter and went over from the 1. In the third quarter, the Bucs finally got on the board on a 42-yard field goal by Mark Hole, who had missed one earlier.
That's right, and I think that this was a point that helped the Green Bay Packers and maybe got them started, but they couldn't continue to do anything the rest of the way.
You talk about the turnovers. You mentioned it at the start, and this is what perhaps hurt Green Bay more than anything. This is Whitehurst, and this was an interception by Lewis. David Lewis from USC, number 57, on a poorly thrown pass by Whitehurst, brings the ball back, and now you're looking at the only end around we had today, Mucker carrying.
The reverse again, Ricky Bell had gained so many yards, had been so successful today. They were keying on Ricky Bell. He started on a sweep to the left and then handed the ball to Mucker coming back on the opposite side.
And the play we saw before, this was on a rollout, and the tight end left all alone. Jimmy Giles, his 5th touchdown reception of the year.
That was a play we're just talking to Doug Williams about. It was an option play where he faked the run into the middle of the line of scrimmage. Then he rolled out to the right, and he had the option of either taking it in himself or passing the ball. The outside man came up and forced him, so he threw the ball to Giles in the end zone all alone.
All right, let's check some other scores in the NFL. New England was trailing at one point, 13-0. They lead now 21-13 in the fourth quarter, and the Patriots could be 6-2, Dolphins 5-3 after today's action, which would put them in first place in the AFC Eastern Division.
New England can put points on the board.
So do the Jets today against your Oakland Raiders, 28-13. And, you know, Oakland had been driving. A lot of people thought that the Raiders were really on a roll.
They were. Well, they'd won 3 in a row. They've been going with 2 tight ends, Raymond Chester and David Casper, and they've been very successful. You know, in the last 3 weeks, they hadn't had a turnover, and those are the 3 games that they won.
So the Jets beat Minnesota on Monday, coming back, and maybe they're reverting to the form people thought they'd get. Chicago, 14-10 over Minnesota in the third. The winner of this game will go into second place, undisputed second place in the Central Division, and will be 2 games still behind Tampa Bay. If it is Minnesota, that'll be a big clash next week with the Bucs and the Vikings. So Chicago leading Minnesota.
Both of those teams are probably watching the scoreboard, or have been watching the scoreboard, to see what was happening here. Both of them would have been very happy to see the Green Bay Packers win today.
I'm sure they would have, because you want to see that first place team knocked off. Here's a club that I think has a chance to not only get in the playoffs, which they would by winning a division. New Orleans, 17-0 over Detroit. They stunned Tampa Bay last week. Detroit has had their problems, but I think when you look at the Saints and the Falcons, 3-4 to the Rams 4-3, and the points for and against New Orleans may be the best bet.
Well, you know, they do, because they're so explosive. They have so much talent with Chandler outside and Childs and the running backs of Muncie and Galbraith and Archie Manning. They have great talent. They were ahead 17-0. Detroit scored 7 at 17-7 now. But New Orleans has one thing. They can put a lot of points on the board in a hurry.
So New Orleans leading Detroit 17-7. Dallas in a tough ball game with the Cardinals. 17-13 in the third quarter. Dallas scored first. The Cardinals had the lead. St. Louis can surprise as they did against Houston, but the Cowboys have to win because they know that they're getting a fight that they haven't had in recent years from Philadelphia and Washington.
Well, you know, a lot of people surprise Dallas. They get ahead early, but it seems like Dallas always finds a way to win. You know, at the end of the season, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be there. They're going to be there in that division playoff game and in that championship game, and I would think they'll probably be in that Super Bowl game.
All right, and one more score to show you here in the National Football League today, and that is it. I'm sorry, Dallas 17 and St. Louis trailing 17-13. And today it was Tampa Bay 21, Green Bay 3. So we've reached the halfway mark of this NFL season. I'd like to know your observations now we've reached the 8-game point.
Well, I think that, you know, again, down here in Tampa Bay, I think they're in very good position now, having the 2-game lead that they have after the 8 games. I think in the Western Division out there, it's still going to be Denver and San Diego and Oakland. That's going to be a very interesting race. They have a very interesting race in the Eastern Division. I think the whole National Football League is very something to look forward to.
All right, John Madden, enjoyed working with you. Bill Barnes has been our producer, John McDonough, our director, and it was the day for Ricky Bell, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He scored a touchdown and established a new rushing mark for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today as he rushed for 167 yards. So the final score, 21-3 for John Madden. This is Dick Stockton saying so long from Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. NBA.
This is CBS.